Hello and welcome to all the action of the Olympic Games. I'm Sidney Kiran and this is the Tokyo Dispatch. Indians had an action-packed day with Lovlina Borgohain confirming a second medal for the country and Sindhu, the ace shuttler, soaring into the semi-finals, and the women's hockey team producing a gritty performance to keep their quarter-final hopes alive. Before we dive deep into all of it, here are the day's big stories. Lovlina Borgohain assures India of a second medal. Sindhu storms into the semi-finals of badminton singles. Novak Djokovic, the world number one and gold medal favourite, crashes out in the semi-finals. The first individual world record at this Games has been created. South Africa's Tatiana Schoenmaker sets the pool on fire. Deepika Kumari crashes out of the archery quarterfinals. That's not the end of it. Indian shooters Manu Bakar and Rahi Sarnobat crash out of the 25-meter pistol qualifications. Athletics has finally begun and the women's 100-meter round 1 heats exploded into life with some blistering performances. As always, the medals tally appears at the end of this video, so do stick around for that. Moving on, let's quickly take a look at India's performance today. How many of us would have heard the name Lovlina Borgohain before this Olympics? I bet not many, apart from the true followers of boxing. But now the entire country is talking about her and will continue for a considerable amount of time as she guaranteed herself a medal. The kickboxer turned amateur boxer, just 23 years old, produced a mature performance beyond her age to upstage former world champion Nian Chin Chen of Chinese Taipei. When a hand was raised in victory in the morning, it was not just Golaghat district in Assam that erupted in joy, but the country itself. Accolades poured in from the high and mighty, but the job is just half finished as she still has a semi-final left. While Lovlina was a toast to the nation, it was another Olympics heartbreak for archery queen Deepika Kumari. Having misfired in the previous two Olympics, Deepika was determined to change things in Tokyo, but then she ran into a South Korean machine called An San. No one is as good as the South Koreans in archery, and San showed a class and confidence, destroying a stunned Deepika 6-0 in less than 6 minutes. Now it's over to Deepika's husband Atanu Das, the last remaining Indian archer in the field, to bring some cheer. In the run-up to the Olympics, there was a lot of hype about Manu Bakar, simply because the teenage sensation was producing devastating performances in World Cups and winning medals for fun. The Olympics, though, is a different beast, and she felt the full force of it in the 10-meter pistol events as she crashed in the qualifying. Friday's 25-meter pistol was a last shot at a medal and some redemption, but sadly there was none as she failed to make the final. The same was the case with Rahi Sarnobat. In the end, it's Rio deja vu for pistol shooters who return home empty-handed. If it is a big tournament, you can expect Sindhu to flex her muscles. The reigning world champion and Rio Olympics silver medalist faced a formidable opponent in Akane Yamaguchi in the quarterfinals. But Sindhu simply proved too good for Yamaguchi as she attacked relentlessly and defended brilliantly to score a 21-13, 22-20 win and march into a second successive Olympic semi-final. One more win and a third medal will be guaranteed for India, and for Sindhu, it'll be a second at the Olympics. Navneet Kaur turned out to be the saviour for the Indian women's hockey team as a late goal helped them to a gritty 1-0 win over Ireland. After losing 3 opening games against tough opposition, this was a must-win game for India Eves if they wanted to stay in the quarterfinal hunt. Although India dominated the match, they couldn't find a way past the Irish. Navneet calmed frayed nerves with a fine goal in the 57th minute. India will now need to win their final Pool A match against South Africa on Saturday and hope Ireland loses to Great Britain to seal the quarterfinal berth. Now, let's move on to the best of international events. Novak Djokovic's hopes of winning a Golden Slam were crushed by Alexander Zverev, the German, scoring a brilliant 3-set victory. Djokovic, the current Australia Open, French Open and Wimbledon champion, opted to compete at the Olympics in a bid to win the gold and then complete a Golden Slam by winning the US Open. No man had done such a feat in a calendar year, and Djokovic figured the impossible nature of the task as he suffered a rare loss while being in control. South Africa's Tatiana Schoenmaker emerged as the biggest star of the pool in today's action, as she set the first individual swimming world record of these games. The 24-year-old touched the pad in 2 minutes 18.95 seconds in the women's 200-meter breaststroke. The previous record of 2:19.11 set by Denmark's Rikke Møller Pedersen at the 2013 World Championships in Barcelona is now history. Tokyo Games is turning out to be one hellish ride for the Americans in the pool. Australia, China, Great Britain, Russian Olympic Committee have stolen their march, and tensions have been on the rise. It came to a boil today when Ryan Murphy sparked controversy by saying the 200-meter backstroke final was, I quote, probably not clean, end quote. Murphy's controversial statement came after the American loss to Evgeny Rylov, the Russian Olympic Committee swimmer. Although Murphy tried to douse the fire by saying he had no intention of making an allegation against Rylov, the Russian was least bothered. Athletics has finally begun and it got off to a superb start with the women's sprinters scorching the track. Ivorian Marie-Jose Ta-Lou rode across the finish line with a blistering 10.78 seconds in searing heat, while defending champion Elaine Thompson-Herah of Jamaica ran a scorching 10.82. Elaine's compatriot Shelly Ann Fraser-Price, seeking a third 100-meter Olympic gold, cruised into the semifinals with an impressive 10.84. Sadly, there were no spectators to soak in the riveting displays. As you know, this game is played behind closed doors. The uncertainty around Simone Biles, the American gymnast, grew louder today as she said she's dealing with a bout of twisties. You must be wondering, what is twisties? Well, twisties is a gymnastics code for when an athlete can't figure out where they are in relation to the ground during a routine. Biles had pulled out of the all-round final yesterday after revealing that she is dealing with mental issues following the immense pressure that's been thrust on her. With the twisties revelation, it could mean the end of Biles' campaign. Fingers crossed it's not. That's a wrap of today's action, but there's plenty more happening tomorrow. Atanu Das, the last remaining medal hope in archery, takes on Takaharu Furukawa in the men's pre-quarterfinals. PV Sindhu will be competing in a second successive Olympic singles semi-final. Boxer Amit Pangal opens his campaign against Rivas Martinez of Colombia. Seasoned boxer Pooja Rani faces China's Li Qian. Women's 100-meter final takes place, the first of the blue ribbon events. And finally, before we go, here's the medals tally. With that, we wind up the day's action. We'll be back with all the updates tomorrow. Make sure to leave your messages for Sindhu and Atanu in the comments below. For the latest action, log on to deccanherald.com or download the app for the notifications.